Regular conference meeting of the Council of the Township of Montclair. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the Montclair Times, the Herald News, and the Star Ledger. Notice has also been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. I should also add that this conference meeting is being broadcast on TV 34 and is streaming live on Montclair TV 34 YouTube channel. It is available on demand and can and will be rebroadcast. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America,
one nation, under God,
one nation, under God, with liberty, justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Jackson,
Present.
Deputy Mayor McMahon, Councilor Baskerville,
present,
Councilor Hurlock,
Present.
Councilor Russo,
Present.
Councilor Schlager,
Here.
Councilor Spiller.
Present.
Thank you. We'll move around a little bit as we often do. There have been presented to us the minutes of May 5th, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? I will move them.
second,
All in favor?
aye,
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. We also have a proclamation declaring the first Friday in June to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Councilor Russo, would you please read this proclamation?
Thank you. This proclamation declares the first Friday in June to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas every day more than 100 Americans are killed by gun violence, and on average there are more than 13,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas Americans are 25 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries, whereas New Jersey has 465 gun deaths every year, and whereas gun homicides predominantly occur in cities, and whereas cities across the nation, including Montclair, are working to end the senseless violence with evidence-based solutions, whereas protecting public safety in the communities they serve is Township Council's highest responsibility, whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories, whereas Township Council members and law enforcement officers know their communities best, whereas pandemics facing America has drastically impacted communities and individuals sheltering in place, whereas in January 2013, Adia Pendleton, a teenager who marched in the presidential inaugural parade and was tragically shot and killed just weeks later, should be now celebrating her 23rd birthday. And whereas to help honor Adia, a national coalition of organizations has designated June 5th, 2020, the first Friday in June as the 6th National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Adia's friends, whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 5th, first Friday in June, to help raise awareness about gun violence. And whereas by wearing orange on June 5th, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to keep our children safe. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Montclair declares the first Friday in June to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day and encourages all citizens to support their local community's efforts to prevent tragic, effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
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 Thank you, it's carried. Public comment. Mr. Fan and Mr. Stafford.
Thank you, Mayor. Caller with the number ending in 94. It is your turn to comment. 94, please.
Good evening, guys. I know I'm your only call, and I don't want to keep you all night. I've been in contact with Robin Slager and the manager, Tim Stafford. I had received a violation of a tree ordinance. I have a couple of issues about that. We have a tree that sits in the back of our property with power lines. It's very hard for PSE&G to reach the tree from my area. We'd have to use the next door neighbor's property to do that. She has been okay to work with that, but then she's changed her mind. Sorry, there's just a lot of feedback here. So, you know, I just, before we go into this, I just feel like there's a, go ahead, Sam. If there's an ordinance that's written by the town that something that has to be removed, I would think that the town should have some sort of assistance for homeowners to kind of get to that part. So that's my situation. I've talked to Robin Slager to see if we can get the neighbors to get together. Since we didn't do the normal way of neighbors coming together to remove the tree, this is a neighbor that reported the town official to come in. So that channel's been kind of like broken. If we were able to broker some sort of agreement between the neighbors to find a solution to get rid of the tree to finish the ordinance, that's why I'm calling.
Thank you for your call. I don't know, Mr. Stafford, or maybe Mr. Karasik are familiar with this issue?
I'm familiar with the issue generally, Mayor. The tree is on the gentleman's private property, and a neighbor called to complain, and our arborist did go. My understanding is this has been going on for quite some time, actually, for a number of years. And the arborist did render an opinion.
I'd like to take position to that.
The arborist did render an opinion that the tree was unsafe and had to be removed. And given that it's on private property, obviously it's the gentleman's responsibility to handle. And as I understand from late this afternoon, having communicated with Councilor Schlager, the gentleman had negotiated with his neighbor for the neighbor to allow the tree removal company to access her yard to remove the tree, and now may have withdrawn that consent in an effort to get an opportunistic advantage in the negotiations. Candidly, it would be inappropriate for the township to negotiate a deal between neighbors in that regard. Again, Councilor Schlager did communicate this to me late this afternoon. However, I certainly defer to the township attorney, but in my opinion, it's certainly inappropriate for the township to negotiate in such an instance. And I should also say that Councilor Schlager relayed to me that the gentleman might need a delay, and Mr. Caulfield, since you're on the phone, I will tell you that if you do need a delay for whatever reason, please, you were not issued a summons, you were issued a warning violation, is my understanding, giving you 30 days to have the issue remediated. And on the form, it says that if you have any issues or questions, call the Office of Code Enforcement. Please call the Office of Code Enforcement, give them the reasons for any perceived delay, and I'm sure that they will take pains to work with you regarding same.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course.
Next caller. Oh, by the way, I'm told that there's a lot of feedback by those watching.
I just passed a note to Mr. Pham. We're trying to adjust that.
Okay.
Caller with the number ending in 47, you are up next to comment. 47, please.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey Beck. I'm the owner of Eastside Mannix on South Fullerton. And I just wanted to come before you guys today. Thank you for hearing us out. I'm also a bid board member, and we had a meeting as community advisors to discuss the parking situation. We know that parking enforcement has reenacted as of June 1st. And as a business owner and as a bid board member, I'd like to beseech the town council to reconsider charging for parking for maybe the next month or two at least, in an effort to help bring business back to the community. A lot of people like yourselves, like myself, have been home for 3 months with minimal pay, if any pay at all, and has been getting government assistance where applicable. So money's tight for everybody, and I think if people are going to come into town to spend money, I think waiving parking for at least the next month or two would be a show of good faith to our constituents and our customers to help bring economic stability back to town. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. Let me just say that, by way of give a caveat a little bit, that we have waived the fees for, I think it's close to 3 months now, or it's getting close, right? It's close to.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mid-March.
Mid-March, yeah, we started. So we have done that, and we've also waived the 2-hour and 4-hour and 1-hour parking on the street. Those violations are still not being enforced. Also, too, we eliminated actually the fee for the permit parking in the lots, and are just now reintroducing those, but doing that on a graduated basis. So the first month it's 25% of normal, second month 50%, third month 75%, and then finally in August it comes back to the normal amount. So we have done quite a bit to try to mitigate the impact. The other thing I would say, though, too, is that we do have a number of people, obviously, from town who park on our streets, but we have a number of people from out of town who park on our streets, which we're very appreciative that they come into town. And if we don't have non-tax revenue, if we lose non-tax revenue, the balance of that to make up for our budget appropriations have to come from taxes. So eventually, we have to balance trying to be helpful to our business interests, but at the same time being mindful of the fact that every time we don't get a non-tax dollar, that then shifts to our taxpayers who have to make up the difference in our budget. So we appreciate the comment, and we'll certainly consider it. But I think there's been a good amount done already, and we do have to now begin to think about how do we balance our budget and make sure that we're in good shape for the years to come. Next.
Caller with the number ending in 72. You're up next to comment. 7-2, please.
Hello, this is Jason Gleason, Executive Director of the Montclair Center Bid. Calling in this evening in two regards. First and foremost, as the Director of the Montclair Center Bid, last week we had a meeting and passed a resolution, and I would just like to read it on the record for you guys. Whereas the Montclair Center business districts have been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, we urge that the Township act to approve and implementing the following business recovery initiatives by June 15th, 2020. Number 1, allow free parking at all Montclair decks from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. for 6 months or until peak time demand approaches capacity. Number 2, offer free first 15 minutes at all meters to ease curbside pickup. Number 3, facilitate scheduled street closures to improve pedestrian flow and allow for outdoor dining experience. Number 4, allow all businesses to utilize their sidewalks as soon as possible, i.e. extend sidewalk space usage for business needing to contend with reduced capacities, and streamline and/or eliminate sidewalk permit process and fees. Number 5, work with Essex County to temporarily implement a road diet on Bloomfield Avenue to allow pedestrian flow and allow businesses to be able to utilize the sidewalks most effectively. Number 6, rescind the special parking zone parking fine increases immediately. Number 7, streamline and prioritize commercial permitting and inspections. And number 8, create an ordinance to regulate surcharges from third-party food delivery services. I also have something to read to you by a newly formed committee. We're calling ourselves Montclair Montclair Commercial Districts United. We have a 6-point list that we're asking of that has some overlap, but I will read it to you quickly so it's on the record. And I will also acknowledge that some of these things are currently being worked on, and we are very thankful to have had them facilitated in a conversation today. Number 1, suspend all permitting applications, charges, and processes that pertain to businesses having the ability to bring their businesses outside until September 30th, 2020, including but not limited to sidewalk signage permits, cafe permits, sidewalk usage for tables, clothing rack, POS systems, etc. Number 2, free parking at all decks and lots in the municipality from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week until September 30th, 2020 to help bring our guests back into our businesses. Number 3, 15-minute free parking at all street meters to help ease the flow for takeout and curbside pickup businesses until September 30th, 2020. Number 4, facilitate organized and scheduled street closings to help pedestrian flow, social distancing effort, and dining possibilities. Recommended streets included, but not limited to, Church Street, Glenridge Ave, Midland Ave, Bloomfield Ave, Belleville Ave, Valley Road, Lorraine Avenue, Walnut Street, Watchung Avenue, Roundabout. Number 5, facilitate regular roundtable meetings between business leaders from all 5 districts, 2 or 3 council members, pertinent township employees, and heads of cultural and civic institutions in town. And number 6 is to start to develop a destination and small business marketing plan to cover the entire township. Many towns around us in the state of New Jersey have enacted all of these temporary ordinances, either by resolution or by ordinance, to help their commercial districts. And we, businesses and business districts in Montclair, would expect that our township act to do the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Caller with the number ending in 00. You're up next to comment. Number 00, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Franco from Fresco to Franco on 15 Church Street. Mayor Jackson, it's always great to see you and everyone there at the Montclair Council meeting. I normally don't call in to council meetings, but I felt obligated in reference to what's been going on with the pandemic. I just have a few concerns. I believe Jason pretty much touched on a few points that I just want to elaborate on. My biggest concern right now is being a BYOB restaurant in Montclair, and obviously the pandemic obviously hitting right now. My biggest concern right now is the limited capacity on dining outdoors. And another challenge that I see coming for all BYOB restaurants or any business, let alone just not restaurants, is the PPP obviously expires tomorrow, which is June 10th. And one of the biggest challenges that any business owner will have, especially restaurateurs, is having the employees come back to work. BYOB restaurants, if you don't do the volume, it's very hard to make it in this town. And, you know, the BYOB restaurants on Church Street, and of course, whether it be in the Montclair bid area, these servers that we have that are now collecting unemployment are making anywhere between $800 to $1,100 being unemployed. So if we do open up at limited capacity on June 15th, and obviously those of us that have the outdoor patio, my biggest concern is getting our employees back, because we're going to be limited to our seating just for the outdoors. What I'm calling for, and what I would love to see, and obviously I've held some pretty, some pretty big events on Church Street. I think, and this is, I believe, Jason, you may have touched on this point as well, is that I would love to see Church Street and maybe perhaps Glenridge Ave, speaking for the other small business owners, that we close down those streets for a period of Friday through Sunday. And I'm not saying all day long, but maybe perhaps from the hours of 6 to, let's say, 11 p.m. So we could obviously have the ability to put more tables on Church Street and have the volume, because I think one of the biggest challenges that BYOB restaurants are going to have is that once this PPP runs out and they're not able to do the volume, it's going to be lights out for many, many restaurateurs that have put their life savings, into their business. That's one of the things that I see being a huge issue. As far as the patio fees and permit fees, you know, every little bit helps right now. You know, some of us, you know, that are on Church Street pay some significant rent. I call it the Fifth Ave rent. Obviously, if you're in Dick Grabowski's building, no offense, I love Dick, but obviously, you know, we're paying big rent in that building. So my concern is that for those of us that don't have a liquor license and those of us that are BYOB, we make all of our money during the months of May and September. That's when our money's made. And if you look at the bar chart, you know, just in my restaurant alone, you know, we do 40% more during the summer, and then once October comes, we lose that 40%. So if we're not able to survive this coming summer and have some sort of volume implicated, whether it be streets or extended outdoor patio, I think we're going to be challenged significantly. So I would love to see two things happen. One, close on Church Street and maybe perhaps Glenridge Ave, excuse me, just for the days of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, especially right now, to help businesses out. And then, of course, the patio permits being waived at this particular time. But I think the biggest challenge we're going to have, you know, these BYOB restaurants that obviously servers make $2.33 an hour plus their tips. There's no way they're coming back if they're getting $800 to $1,100 a week on unemployment. So that's a big concern I see for all restaurateurs and business owners.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear at the beginning. What restaurant are you with, sir?
It's Fresco.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Fresco, 15 Church Street.
Yep, I've been there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porperino. I think there's
Mr. Mayor, if I could, Councilman Spiller here, just to note that as part of the work with regard to street closures in general, I know that there are aspects being looked at from the business perspective in terms of restaurants and otherwise, in terms of if any street closures you know, would be feasible. I know that would be coordinated with the BID and other business entities to kind of see what works and what hours would be and what dates recommended and so forth. But additionally, a number of residents have talked about potentially looking at varying street closures in various parts of town to allow for more mobility, easier passage. And I know that you know this well, Mr. Mayor, and also Councilman McMahon, as a Public Safety Committee, we're going to be looking at these specific components shortly. I believe at the end of this week we have a committee meeting scheduled to kind of go over some of those pieces, to include the police, to look at the logistics. As we know, shutting down a street sometimes is a challenge, certainly a residential one. When we talk about that, you know, we have vehicles that need to come in and out people's homes to get to various locations. How do you manage that? So there's some things to look at. And on the business side, you know, certainly identifying which roads and streets would potentially be good for closure and how that would work, and if police are present and who picks up those costs are all things that I think we're looking at. And certainly also very mindful of what the mayor noted, that, you know, for every single dollar we don't bring in that's not tax-wise, our taxpayers are picking up those dollars. So those same individuals who are currently underemployed, unemployed, and have to pay taxes and make sure that we function, you know, those costs are borne by them. So we're mindful of all of these things. It's a balancing act, but I certainly want to commend the work of all my colleagues as we try and figure this out on various committees and try and make it work. But I just wanted to note that we are looking at that, and we are looking at that this week. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stafford?
Thank you. Caller with the number ending in 88. You're up next to comment. Number 88, please. Caller with the number ending in 88. Okay. Caller with the number ending in 23. You're up next to comment. Number 23, please. Caller with the number ending in 65. You're up next to comment. Number 65, please.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, hi. John Sullivan, 19 Euclid Place, president of Bike Walk Montclair. Tonight I'll be speaking on behalf of Bike Walk Montclair and all of the members of our board and constituents. We just wrapped up a major townwide survey that you will be receiving the data from after this meeting, as well as a copy of the letter. But this is from our constituents that I wanted to read into the record tonight. Dear Montclair Town Council, We are living through unprecedented and uncertain times, times that have disrupted society in countless ways and forced us to ask questions that are long overdue. One of the many questions being asked is, what are and who are our streets for? For 3 months, we have observed a dramatic increase in the number of people getting around town by means other than their car. As we transition slowly from COVID response to recovery, and perhaps now back to COVID response again next fall, our streets must provide better, safer options for those living, working, and playing across all 4 wards. As Jason Gleason just reported, the impact of COVID-19 on our business districts has been catastrophic. They are in need of urgent action from this council. Expanded sidewalks, strategic traffic calming, dedicated bike and pedestrian networks are critical in keeping people safe, maintaining proper social distancing, and allowing them to feel comfortable enough to actually visit our struggling businesses. However, our work in reimagining our streets must not solely be focused within our business districts, but also in our residential streets. With people looking to remain physically and socially active, our neighborhoods and streets connecting them have truly become havens for thousands of people getting around by foot, bike, and wheels of all kinds. Unfortunately, in virtually all residential settings, the sidewalk width does not safely accommodate the maintenance of proper social distancing. In addition, while there are fewer cars on the road, statistics have played out that they are traveling indeed much faster, with a 14% increase statewide in pedestrian strikes. In response to these new realities, many towns in New Jersey have already implemented changes to their infrastructure to meet the demands of this moment. Princeton, Metuchen, Asbury Park, Rutherford, Ridgewood, Garfield, and Highland Park are foregoing streamlining many of the normal decision-making processes to implement quick, responsive, and flexible pilot street designs on a trial basis. In an effort to gauge our community's interest in trying some of these emergency street responses here in town, Bike Walk Montclair distributed a survey seeking reactions to renderings similar to those being done in other towns. Thus far, we have received over 1,000 responses, indicating that this topic is at the forefront of people's minds right now. Preliminary analysis shows very strong support for all the potential redesign types, with close to 80% of participants responding in strong favor. Finally, in both their campaigns as candidates, as well as during Bike Walk Montclair's candidates forum, Mayor-elect Spiller and Councilwoman Schlager said they would introduce a resolution that establishes the formation of an official COVID-19 response committee, consisting not only of stakeholders from multiple levels of municipal leadership, but from local community-based organizations as well. We fully support this idea and believe that by getting a mixture of public officials, community advocates, and technical experts sitting at the same table, great things will happen. Right now, our town is in need of leadership to reimagine Montclair. This reimagination will need to be bold, forward-thinking, and fully inclusive in its response. In summary, tonight, Bike Walk Montclair is calling on the council to, 1, review the results of our Reimagine Montclair survey and the supporting documents and use their findings in your decision-making processes. 2, create an emergency COVID response committee with members from varying levels of municipal leadership, as well as local leaders and community organizations, including Bike Walk Montclair, and set a date for that first meeting. We thank you for your time, look forward to hearing your thoughts on our survey, as well as how to make our streets safer in this challenging time, as Montclair transitions from response to recovery and beyond. Be well, have a good evening, and look forward for our documents coming through later tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Alvin. Stafford?
Thank you, sir. Caller with the number ending in 31. You're up next to comment. Number 31, please.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carly Graham Garcia. I'm a Montclair resident, and I'm also Executive Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship at Montclair State. I'm going to be speaking in my capacity as a resident, but also wanted folks who are on this call to know that right as COVID hit, I was in the process of opening a business incubator in Lackawanna Plaza for the State University. We've been working with the Montclair Center Bid and other small business owners in this community for weeks, and in March, April, and May, we ran a series called Montclair Mondays, where many of the issues that Jason Gleason just outlined and were echoed by others after him were raised. So I wanted to call in today to express my support of the bid's request and echo that we've heard this from hundreds of business leaders we've had on these Montclair Monday calls, anywhere from 50 to 150 participants. So things like expanding the parking, sidewalk usage are issues that have come over again and again. So thanks for listening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to chime in.
Thank you.
Caller with the number ending in 03, you're next up to comment. 03, please.
Hi, good evening. It's good to see all of you on my muted TV. My name is Melissa Schaefer of Edgemont Road in Montclair, and on behalf of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense and Everytown for Gun Safety, I want to thank you, Mayor Robert Jackson, and all of you on the Montclair Township Council for issuing the proclamation tonight, marking Gun Violence Awareness Day again in 2020. As you said before, when you read the proclamation, Gun Violence Awareness Day was started by the Friends of Hadia Pendleton, and her friends wanted her and everyone to wear orange in honor of her life and legacy. She was shot and killed in Chicago at the age of 15, 1 week after performing at President Obama's second inaugural parade in 2013. And they asked us to stand up, speak out, and wear orange to raise awareness about gun violence. Last Friday, June 2nd, was National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and it was the beginning of Wear Orange Weekend, which was dedicated to honoring the lives of Americans affected by gun violence and elevating the voice of every American who demands an end to it. Gun violence takes the lives of 100 Americans every single day, and our commitment to honor and act is ever stronger. Since 2015, Moms Demand Action has partnered with hundreds of mayors, governments, nonprofits, businesses, and individuals to make this into a national event. And you and we in Montclair have issued proclamations since 2016. And I thank you again for being such a strong partner in our fight against gun violence. May all of you and all the citizens of our great town be safe and be healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your leadership on this issue.
Caller with the number ending in 59, you're up next to comment. Number 59, please.
Good evening. My name is Jarmila Packard. I'm a 20-year Montclair resident, a commercial landlord in Montclair Center, and treasurer of the Montclair Center bid. First, I'd like to thank you and all of the municipal employees for your service as essential workers during the time of COVID. I'm calling today with my landlord hat on. Over the last 3 months, business conducted by my commercial tenants dropped to zero. My commercial rent collections reflect this. 2 of my units are now vacant due to COVID. My tenants, our neighbors, and constituents of the bid are all concerned about how they will reopen, attract customers in a time of COVID, and serve sufficient customers to meet their bills. I may have more vacancies coming. There will certainly be many more downtown. Over the last few weeks, tenants and friends have called to talk about what neighboring towns are doing to encourage customers and support businesses. Have I heard if Montclair is planning on helping? I apologize if I'm misinformed, but I tell them that I'm not aware of any coming municipal action to help local retail, restaurant, and entertainment businesses. The usual reaction is frustration and anger at the inaction and silence. I'm asked if you value our businesses and our landlords, and I'd like to assure them that you do. The BID and UMBA have sent you proposals that would invite and welcome customers to Montclair and help small businesses survive. These items are urgent for the livelihood of business owners, many of whom are residents. Repeatedly, realtors tell us that our business districts are what attract new residents and support the development which has helped municipal finances of late. Urgent action is needed for the fiscal health of Montclair. To my thinking, the most important step you can take to encourage visitors and allow small businesses to operate is to expand pedestrian and retail spaces into the parking lanes. Encourage planters, tables, retail displays, and this can be done with parklets or simply with jersey barriers. If restaurants can expand exterior seating, fewer will close. If retailers can display wares outside, more might stay in business. If pedestrians have a richer experience, they'll spend more time and money in Montclair. Today, as full-price parking and enforcement were in effect, I was the only car parked for more than half a block. Right now, we need customers more than we need parking spaces. Please take this urgently needed step. I look forward to the days when we will once again have a parking problem. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Caller with the number ending in 50, it's your turn to comment. 50, please.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, council members. My name is Jose Barrero. I am a member of the Montclair Bid and chairperson of the marketing committee. I've lived in Montclair for 10 years, and I also am the president of our condo association, which is the William Hughes building, which hopefully you've all been lucky enough to eat at Nisab or get some wonderful shades at the Shade Store or had some great ceviche at Costanera. The reason for my call tonight is to echo the voice of my colleagues who have called about expanding sidewalks, also addressing the fees for parking, and in addition to that, to sort of address the situation about Bloomfield Avenue and getting a little bit less traffic on there so that we can create a better experience and bring more business into the town. Frankly, I'm a bit embarrassed because the response has been quite anemic from the municipal government and the council when they say that parking fees have been loosened and lowered since March, when in reality we're talking with a pandemic that has decimated our businesses, that has decimated our residents, that has affected our children, and it is critical that the town take some action. Saying that we need doing that will affect tax dollars, that's a poor excuse. And it's really an answer that is not what we expect and what this town needs. The businesses in this town, the restaurants, and all the other businesses have put their big boy pants on, have gone and donated food, have paid for their salaries of their employees. It's time for the town and the town council to step up and do the same. Thank you, have a good evening, and be safe.
Caller with a number ending in 19. It's your turn to comment. Number 19, please.
Hello, this is Denise Ford Sourdough, owner of the Montclair Brewery. Thank you for the chance to speak. I think it's one of maybe my first or second town meetings. I'm here actually today just to really reinforce and reiterate the message that many of the small business owners have already spoken about, and to share that I'm in full support of the 10 points that Jason had mentioned earlier. As a small business owner, during this time, I just want the council to understand that this is not business as usual. So that the expectation cannot be that, hey, you want to get outside seating, here's the process. You want this, here's the process. These are unprecedented times, and the state understands that and have made concessions to allow it to be a little easier for us. Someone spoke about the BYOB. We are on the opposite end, where we can sell our beer that we make, but people can bring in food. We cannot produce food. We still need the help. Right now, our business, while somewhat operational, has been cut by 50 to 70%, our business, because we're not operating it under our normal, we're not operating it under our normal way that we would operate. And we really beg the town to realize that we are in dire needs and to do what is necessary to help us and to make our lives more manageable, where we can continue to bring in revenue for the business and income for our employees, allowing us to use our parking lot spaces for outside dining would be huge help. Potentially the sidewalks, anything. Someone talked about closing off the streets. Walnut Street may be a great candidate as well for that during certain times, but I really believe that the town really needs to help us. We're not asking for something permanent, but something just to get us out of this position that we're in right now due to COVID-19. No calling of our own, no fault of our own. It just is what it is. We understand that the town needs to make money as well. However, if all the businesses that are currently in town will not be able to survive, I don't think that will be great for the town as well. So we beg you to please do what is necessary to help us make things, first of all, recognize that this is not business as usual, and don't require us to go through the same process that we would normally have to go through, because these are not normal times, and to help make some temporary concessions to make it easier for us, doing away or greatly reducing the fees for any outside seating, reducing the paperwork and the bureaucracy to allow us back and welcome in our customers. And really, so just we're hoping for some positive results. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you.
Caller with the number ending in 49. It is your turn to comment. Number 49, please. Caller with the number ending in 49. Caller with the number ending in 68. It's your turn to comment. Number 68, please.
Hello, good evening. My name is Zena Floyd, and I represent the South End, and I'm a resident for over 25 years. And I also have a restaurant, Cafe Culture, that recently opened on the South End. And I have to once thank Mr. Mayor and the council people. I can only imagine what you all are going through and trying to accommodate our needs, the residents' needs, and trying to get our financial situation in play. So I would never expect to be in your shoes. However, at the same time, particularly for our end, closing the streets are not as big of an issue, but we do have businesses, doctors' offices, my restaurant, and other restaurants in the area that have been closed for a very long time. And the cost for that has been incredibly difficult. However, we are excited about opening. We are excited about the prospect of businesses coming, and customers, at least from our business that we are doing takeout, are looking for it. We're already getting calls for outside seating. We have limited seating availability. However, the cost for the permits, the application, and all of those processes, along with the PPP loans and trying to get ourselves situated in a scenario that is really not of our doing. I mean, we're forced to have outside seating and not allowed to be inside, which for businesses that do not normally function with outside seating as their primary source for entertaining our guests, we're actually obligated to do that now, which obviously will limit our ability to have the influx of business that we're looking for. So as other constituents of mine have mentioned earlier, we're not asking for anything permanent, but a waiver or the application process maybe for the next couple of weeks until we can kind of get a feel for what's going on, would greatly be appreciated. And again, I understand your situation as well, but I think this would be an ideal time to let the residents, the businesses know that we're all united as a municipality and as a community. And any bone that you could toss us would be greatly appreciated. I know for us on this side, our doctor's offices, they are sometimes open, sometimes closed, but now they're opening and they're kind of would like to put tables outside. I'm not sure if those permits are required for that as well. But it would be nice for you to consider waivering the application for permits, and so maybe until the middle of July, you know, just so we can get our feet wet and not have to worry about all of the logistics as well as the ambiguity of what's coming ahead. So again, I appreciate you listening to us. I also appreciate the consideration of the South End. We are our own little team, but we are in here fighting it, the big fight with everyone else. And we want to keep all the businesses open, because without that, we all get hurt. So thank you again for allowing me to share my thoughts and views. And any consideration on this would be greatly appreciated. And you all please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Caller with the number ending in 38. It's your turn to comment. Number 38, please.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council, thank you for taking my call. My name is Richard Kronk. I'm the owner of Bang Salon and Spa on South Fullerton Street in Montclair, and I'm also a board member on the Montclair bid. Last week we had a bid meeting where we discussed multiple issues that Jason has brought forward to you, And I'm not going to bore you and reiterate everything that has already been said, but I support the actions of the bid and the proposal that was presented to the council. We've been closed now when we reopen, we will have been closed for more than 25% of the year, which is quite significant in my point of view. And I would appreciate it if you would take the proposal that the bid has given and look at it very seriously and possibly do what is necessary in order to support the businesses in the town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Caller with the number ending in 78. It is your turn to comment. Number 78, please.
Yes, good evening. My name is Petya Morozov, and I am...
Ms. Morovo, you seem to have dropped off inadvertently, so if you'd like to call back in and rejoin the queue, we'll get to you as soon as we can. Caller with the number ending in 78, it is your turn to comment. Number 78, please. Caller number 78. Caller with the number ending in 18, it is your turn to comment. Number 18, please. Number 18. Caller with the number ending in 93. It's your turn to comment. Number 93, please. Number 93. Caller with the number ending in 69. It is your turn to comment. 69, please. Number 69. Caller with the number ending in 38. It is your turn to comment. Number 38, please.
Yeah, hi, this is Phil Cantor. I'm a small business owner in the downtown. I've had a store there for 25 years. And I am really disheartened that the town council has been so slow in taking any action to support the business community. Other towns in the area are really... Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Cantor.
Okay. Other towns in the area have really taken a more of a lead. In Maplewood, for instance, the town committee has 4 weeks ago passed 15 resolutions, many of them with the same points that I've heard tonight, and in total support for their downtown. And the only actions I've seen taken by the Montclair Town Council is giving free parking and then taking it away last week, even though businesses are not fully back. And I find this to be so tone deaf. A vibrant downtown doesn't happen by itself, and now it's an emergency, and we're really in survival mode. We need your help. We need free permits for outdoor dining and shopping. We need support for easy street closures. We need to repeal some of the onerous special parking fines downtown. I really need the town council to realize that the business districts need to be nurtured by our town government and not just seen as not a profit center, but a center for permit fees and parking fines, in a way to keep the property taxes low. It's really not business as usual. We have to do something. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Caller with the number ending in 37. It is your turn to comment. Number 37, please. Number 37. Caller with the number ending in 35. It is your turn to comment. Number 35.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, I accidentally dropped off. I'm the owner of Hammer and Stain in Upper Montclair, and I proudly opened my business 1 year ago, June 1st. unfortunately, with this state of affairs, we cannot open, and functioning is horrible in any way that you look at it. The availability of free parking or some assistance so that I can host small parties in my store. We are a DIY workshop studio, and that's the only relief that I will qualify for. And it's really disheartening. You know, our rents are astronomical, and not being able to do any type of business for the past 3 months, including part of my business was doing enrichment programs with the local grammar schools, which we all know is not happening either. We went to the town to find out if we can host summer camps in our local parks, and we were told that we can't without a permit, and permits are not being issued. There has to be some way that the township is supporting us in helping us have activities for children to do over the summer, and summer camps are going to be a big part in that. Many of our kids are used to going to sleepaway camps, which are not an option this year. So I'm hoping that the town council will consider opening up the town parks to local businesses that can service our youngest residents of the township. Thank you for your hearing us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller with the number ending in 60. It is your turn to comment. Number 60, please.
Hello, this is Wendy Lacey. I am speaking as a small business owner in Upper Montclair. I own Cornerstone Montclair and the general store. I'm also a citizen here for 19 years. I have 4 kids in Montclair Public School District. First, I guess I would just say in all capital letters, ditto to everything that every business owner has said here. Thanks to Jason Gleason from the BID for representing all small businesses in town. Thank you to John Sullivan and Bike to Walk Montclair for the survey, and I'm trying to harness the positive feelings behind the lifestyle in our streets. And I just want to say, you know, listen, congratulations to Mayor-elect Spiller and to the town council. There are a lot of obstacles around the things we're talking about today, but as a community, this is a time that is going to define us. And we're going to look back and think about the changes that we have a chance to make. And I am confident that every one of the town council and the mayor-elect is smart enough to help us get through this. And as a community, we are smart enough to harness our enthusiasm, our positivity to create change and long-term change for the future. I was at some of the rallies this weekend. They were incredible. So I just implore the town council, yes, there are obstacles, but I know as a community that we can address them and overcome them. And thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing how this all unfolds.
Thank you, Ms. Lacey. Caller with the number ending in 91. It is your turn to comment. Number 91, please.
Yes, my name is Luba Slipoy, and I'm one of the owners of Doing Dishes, which is a pottery painting studio on Church Street in South Park. So I just wanted to voice my opinion that certainly like providing a free parking would be a great relief for us as we're looking into reopening. Maybe there's a way to utilize this just to provide a 2-hour parking, free parking on the deck behind Church Street. That would, I think, would be greatly beneficial to all of the businesses in the area, and just as well as providing some sort of application wavering for outside seating for our customers, because we are as the business in the situation where we probably function as a restaurant since we seat people and people paint inside the store. So it would be great for us if we were allowed to move at least a couple of tables outside, but for that, like providing free parking in the area is crucial if we are going to utilize the sidewalk for that. Besides, we were looking into possibility of opening a summer camp, which we usually run for kids, during the summer, and we can actually provide a safe environment for kids by sitting like one kid at a table, or more kids from the same family, and closing the store for everybody else. I'm wondering if we would be allowed to do so if we don't bring other customers into the store and continue doing curbside drop-offs and pickups on our side. So we are in this gray zone, which we do not quite know what kind of business we are. We're not strictly retail business. And we are not a restaurant, like people don't eat, so they can maintain their masks while painting. We would like some clarifications. We certainly do not want to break any rules. So that would be greatly appreciated. So just to summarize what I said, free parking and some sort of at least temporary permit for outside seating, because we don't know how we would do that even, because all our paints are inside, so it would take a lot on our side to reorganize, but at least it would give us some possibility of opening and allowing some people, to maintain our business. We've been in business, not us, we are the last owners, but that business is one of the oldest in Montclair. It's been there forever. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and I really appreciate everybody else's thoughts on the matter. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Caller with the number ending in 25. It is your turn to comment. Number 25, please. Caller number 25.
Hi, my name is Jason Clark. I have lots of sympathy for the businesses. I hope the council will take extreme measures to support the community. We all pay taxes into and move to Montclair because of that. My comment is related to the police force. I was wondering if the council would post or discuss the rules of engagement for interacting with citizens, and whether there's a policy on de-escalation, what those policies are, and whether they're willing to post them to the city website. That's my only comment.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the policies, this is Ira Karasik, Township Attorney. The policies that the police operate under, which are basically established by the Attorney General and by the County Prosecutor, are public. They're documents, and they certainly, I believe, can be posted. So we could do, or we could do a link to the sites where they are available. So I will take that in mind, your comment. Thank you.
Caller with the number ending in 49. It is your turn to comment. Number 49, please.
Hi, my name is Amy South. I'm the owner of Moss & More in Upper Montclair. I've been in business about a year and a half, and I just wanted to take the time to thank you all for what you're doing to express my hope that you will do the right thing and listen clearly and strongly to what people are voicing, and there's a lot of difference I think we can all make if we all work together, and I fully endorse Jason's representation of the business districts as a whole.
Thank you. Caller number 21. It is your turn to comment. Number 21, please.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for listening to my comment. I'm getting a lot of feedback. My name is Lisa Johnson, and I've owned a business in downtown Montclair for over 17 years, and I'm also the president of Montclair Bids. I'm looking forward to seeing the action plan that the township is going to implement that will help all of its business districts to recover after many of its businesses have been forced to temporarily close and then reopen with limited capacities. And unfortunately, we've already lost a lot of businesses in the meantime. Many other towns have already extended free parking. They've already agreed to close streets so that pedestrians can safely social distance. And they've also proposed other innovative ways to bring economic stability back to their downtowns. So I'm just staying positive that our vibrant business districts will get the help and assistance that they need from the township to prosper in the current economic climate. So thank you again for listening, and have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Caller number 78, ending in 78. It is your turn to comment. Number 78, please.
Yes, hi, good evening. I'm Petya Morozov. I'm calling as a resident. I was born here. I'm a business owner of 17 years, and I'm also more recently the founder of Montclair Design Week. I have been working alongside Jason Gleason and Carly Graham Garcia to open a platform for conversations with our business community since late March, early April. Since then, we have culminated conversations that have not just been insightful, but also have inspired new grassroots efforts, namely Fresh Air Montclair was born out of that conversation. People are, when you listen to the immense dialogue that has come out of these conversations, the thing that is loud and clear is that we are a creative community. We are an empowered community. We are very passionate about Montclair. We not just have businesses here, but we also live here. And then we employ people who also live here. Our business community is our community as a whole. They are inseparable. Taxpayers here are also business owners. These things are important to keep coupled as we try to move forward. These are not people who are having sideline conversations. This affects all of us just in terms of how we make our next step forward. I'm coming here just to, for the record, just remind everybody on the town council and everyone listening that these conversations, these 9 points, were not just recently presented to the town council, but presented over 3 weeks ago. Some modifications to those points were submitted last week, and I think it's important for you to understand that for our business community, for our community at large, the inaction is devastating. Every business that closes is a loss to our entire community. So I also want to just remind everyone here that because of COVID-19, many residents will decide to probably, if they decide to have businesses in the future, that they may decide to open up their businesses here in Montclair. They will only do that if they feel supported. They will only do that if they feel like this is a town that supports entrepreneurship. There are so many amazing entrepreneurs here in town already who've decided to make Montclair their home. That includes me. Many of us could have decided to open up shop elsewhere. So it is not just a matter of business community and then everybody else. I think it's really important to listen to our community as we have, as Jason, Carly, and I have listened for 2 months now to hundreds of people who are saying, we have answers, we have solutions, we have ideas. We want to feel supported in implementing those ideas. So the 19 points that have come to you, and then more recently the 6 points that have come to you, are out of hundreds of people who are presenting themselves to you. It is not actually even indicative of the 26 who are watching this particular town council meeting tonight. This is hundreds of people. They are not here tonight. They're sick and tired of feeling unheard. We are coming to you, imploring you to take action. That's all I have to say. My other colleagues at Bike Walk Montclair are doing tremendous work. We are supportive of their endeavors as well. The organizations who are on the ground doing amazing work to give Montclair the reputation of being an integrated, inclusive, diverse community are doing the work. We need to feel supported. Please take action. Please embrace the points that have been presented to you. Please embrace the outcomes of the survey. It is time to take action. This is an unprecedented moment. Every community around Montclair is taking action, and we are not taking action. It would be a shame for Montclair to go down like this. This is a moment that is unprecedented. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. Caller number with the number ending in 36. It is your turn to comment. Number 36, please.
Hi, my name is Ashley Cyrus. I'm a member of the Montclair Center Bid Board. I'm a sixth-generation Montclair resident and a realtor in town with West of Hudson. And I'm just calling to echo in the points that Jason made and other business owners have made. Our businesses and our community are what makes us unique and drive people here. And if other towns around us are doing the things that are needed for the businesses to not only survive this time, but to thrive, that I'm urging Montclair and the council to do something to help these businesses, to give them guidance, to, make our town the place, the destination place that everyone wants to be. And right now it's not. So if you can do what you can to re-look over the points that Jason's made and, even communicate with us what's needed. There are hundreds of business owners and people that are here to brainstorm and get what we need for this town. It's a little late, but it's better late than never. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Caller with the number ending in 93. It is your turn to comment. Number 93, please. Caller number 93. Caller with the number ending in 75. It is your turn to comment. Number 75, please.
Hi, yes, I'm the other owner doing dishes street, and I just want to, not shockingly, agree with my co-owner, and I do think that we need to suspend some kind of parking fees, especially in that lot, which was ridiculous when it doubled in price, going from $1 an hour to $2 an hour overnight. That was already an outrage among most of the people in Montclair, and closing down Church Street would allow everybody to kind of move onto the sidewalks, leaving the street itself as a pedestrian paradise and being able to space out for everyone. And even though we're always having parking issues, I think at most we would be losing maybe, 12 spots, and that's a overestimation at most. And now I'm being forced to read a children's book. So thank you to BID, who is trying their best from what I've seen. I do appreciate all the work, and it's been really great listening to everybody's opinions tonight. Thank you.
Thank you both. Caller with the number ending in 60. It is your turn to comment. Number 60. Caller number 60. Caller with the number ending in 44. It is your turn to comment. Number 44, please.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, so my name is Kristen, and I'm the owner of the Eclectic Chic Boutique in downtown Montclair. And next month will be our second year being a storefront in Montclair. I actually started off as a home-based business, and we grew so much that we actually ended up getting a storefront in Montclair, and I was very proud to be there. And quite frankly, I would like to continue to stay there. So I want to reiterate what my fellow business owners have been saying, that I think it would be very important to see that the town council speak up and actually support the local business community. And also, I think keeping the free parking will help a great deal in keeping customers coming, and also alleviating, or at least temporarily deferring fees for the permits needed for us to perform our businesses in these very unprecedented times is going to be very, very important,
Bringing trucks,
especially considering if businesses continue to close the way they are, there won't be much of a downtown for people to come back to. So I implore you to really please consider these solutions to help foster our local community and keep us running. And thank you.
Thank you. Caller with the number ending in 35, it is your turn to comment. Number 35, please.
Yes, good evening. Do you hear me?
I do, sir. We do, I should say.
Excuse me, I'm driving. Great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Roger Mazzio. My wife and I own 2B Pilates on South Park in downtown Montclair, obviously. We wanted to voice our opinion along with our fellow friends and tenants around the corner, like Doing Dishes, that called in about the parking issue. I think if we could really suspend again the parking fees that are going down for going down downtown, and also we have a huge parking deck in the back that could be a large place for people to go to that could park in there. And if I remember correctly, we also have another parking area off Church Street, right off of South Park. These could be solutions that could help us in finding people, as they come down there looking for a place to park. Because the one complaint that we always hear is that the parking is really, really difficult. We have such an incredible jewel downtown with everybody, with all the local businesses, with the people. And if we could just alleviate, at least temporarily, the situation with the parking, I think it would be a huge help. The one thing I don't want to hear are people complaining in this period of time about the parking issue. Come down and support your local businesses, whether it be us or our neighbors or wherever it is on Church or South Park or South Fullerton. So if I were to throw my voice behind anything, I would really like to get behind that idea of the parking. So if there's some way you guys could alleviate and help us out, that would be a huge help. I thank you for your help and your support in this unprecedented times that we're all going through. It's difficult for all of us, I'm sure you know that. But we really need to pull together and find solutions to help us, because we want to be here. We love this town. We love giving back to this town. We love having a business in this town. And the last thing we want to do is go away. And so please, myself, but everybody, to help us out. And if parking could be one thing to concentrate on, we would really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew. Caller with the number ending in 75, it is your turn to comment. Number 75, please. Caller number 75. Caller number 75. Caller number 78, it is your turn to comment. Number 78, please. Caller number 78. Mayor, there are no more callers in the queue.
Thank you, and thank everyone for the comments, particularly representatives from our business community, our small business community. Just a comment. I think it's safe to say that this council is very concerned about the impact that the COVID pandemic has had on our community, our residents, and certainly our small businesses. And we're going to be, have been actually, and will continue to be thinking about some ideas that we can implement fairly quickly. I hasten to add, though, that it's the same 7 people that have got us to the point where Montclair, downtown Montclair, is the envy of every downtown in the state of New Jersey. We haven't gone away. We haven't lost our intellect. We haven't lost our ability to come up with creative ideas. However, one of the things that we have been kind of careful about this time around is because the guidelines and the direction that we got from, that we're getting from the governor, have gotten from the governor, have been slow in coming, because he's trying to figure out what is the safe and logical way to unwind our economy and unwind our government. I believe that we will be able to, as Councilor Spiller mentioned, we'll be able to, we're going to meet, our Public Safety Committee is going to meet, and I think we'll be able to implement some things that'll be very pleasing fairly quickly, but we'll have the benefit, though, of seeing what some others have talked about. And I just want to add that nobody has done anything, because you're not allowed to do anything for another couple of weeks. So you can, the plans and so forth are great, and we'll have them, but I think we'll have the ability to implement probably at the same time as everybody else does, but with the benefit of some thinking and some planning that some others have done, which I certainly appreciate. But having a better comfort level with what we're going to be able to do. So, and I also think too that, and I want to say this because I see Mr. Iacobellis is in the audience joining us this evening. Good to see you. And I'm confident that the next council will also take that up and continue the fight to bring back our downtown. But our downtown is a great one. It's a vibrant one. It's got great bones, and we'll be in a position in short order to, I think, once again, be the envy of all the downtowns in the state of New Jersey. It's not by accident that we're that way. A lot of effort and dollars and planning and strategies have gone into getting us there over the years, and certainly I can say that this group of 7 have not been slackers at all in terms of ensuring that continues to happen. And again, I'm sure the next council will continue that. So I understand the trepidation, I understand the fear, but I'm very comfortable in saying that we will be up and running and having many of the requests that have been made in place at the same time, if not before, some of our surrounding communities. Mr. Safford?
Mr. Mayor, if I also may add there, Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry, it's Bill Herlock, First Ward Council tonight. I've been listening very patiently, and I appreciate all the comments, and I understand where many of the business owners are coming from. I truly do. I am also a business owner in Montclair. My law firm is located here as well. And I have had several conversations, emails, texts with many individuals here from various businesses, from the various business districts, including Mr. Giordano, who's the president of the Upper Montclair Business Association, Mr. Gleason from the BID, Ms. Carroll from UMBA. For weeks now, we've been having these conversations. And I would also add, too, that the Finance Committee, Mr. Mayor, Mr. McMahon, myself, Mr. Stafford, Mr. Scantlebury, we've been meeting almost on a weekly basis to watch the finances to make sure that, we have the wherewithal to do many of the things that are asked for us. And fortunately, because of our stewardship over the last 8 years on the finances, we are in a position that we can do more than would have been done in past administrations, quite frankly. So, and just as soon as this afternoon, several of us were on a phone call. Mr. Karasik, Mr. Stafford, we had spoken about many of these issues with many of the business leaders and trying to work out a plan to go forward. We all have a homework assignment. We're going to be getting back to everybody relatively shortly. So I just want to make sure that the record's clear. To your point, Mr. Mayor, this council has not been sitting on our hands. We've been very active in trying to come up with ways, working with the leadership, trying to navigate the extremely complex legal web that has been cast here in terms of what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. You know, as Mr. Stafford and Mr. Karasik have pointed out on today's call, that changes almost hourly in some instances. So I think it's important because, again, I'm very empathetic of what's going on with the business community, but it's also important to note that we are very involved on many different levels with many of the people who spoke this evening as well. And I want everyone to be aware of that, because I think sometimes that's not accurately portrayed. And before the pendulum gets too far, I think in all fairness, I had to say this. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I think Councilor Spiller had something as well.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that as well. And thank you, Councilman Hurlock, for noting that. I think, certainly in the capacity in interfacing with the bid and Bill with UMBA and a lot of other groups as well, being that, as Bill noted, we were even on a call as of today to discuss some of these pieces. I think, I think everyone aptly noted, whether it be the Finance Committee constantly reviewing some of those pieces, the Public Safety Committee reviewing the closure aspects and seeing what can happen. And of course, all of us looking at the things that can be put into place. It is always the balancing of the dollars that are available, how we can help stimulate and bring people back, help the vibrancy of our downtowns, make sure our businesses are getting supported, balancing that at the needs of taxpayers for sure, always being mindful of that, making sure we're encompassing the governor's safety guidelines and the public health guidelines we're getting. But I think Bill noted, and as you alluded to, Mayor, as well, we've always been very supportive of the downtowns. We've been very supportive of our businesses. It's always worked here in Montclair. That is one of the draws that brings people here. I think our rich diversity being number one. But I think that that will continue, and I'm confident that as we look at and navigate the opening, the lifting, as the governor moves through the reopening of our state, we're going to be well positioned to see what we can try, to see what our asks are that can be handled at the local level. And then, of course, to see what our more broad reaches are that would probably require county and state collaboration for some of the bigger items and some of the bigger things that we would hopefully reach for. So, again, I think the conversations are key. Absolutely, a lot of those points that were noted on this call are being looked into. As Bill noted, there's homework assignments both ways in terms of getting some definitive pieces around dates, times, what the asks are, what the prep is for the business side of it, but also what the deliverables are and what we can accomplish on our side from government. So I think that's the process as it works. I think certainly we all hear the frustration on this call. It's to be understandable when we're dealing with an epidemic that is killing so many, an epidemic that is hurting our businesses, an epidemic that is unprecedented. That frustration is something that's totally understandable, something we have to be mindful of, and something we have to do everything we can to work through and ease. So know that that's a commitment that this council has always had, and I thank all my colleagues, and certainly as the mayor noted, I know it's going to be a commitment for the council as we move forward. So that's a commitment we all share as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next order of business, Mayor, would be the second reading of the 10 ordinances pending.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to report that all ordinances for second reading on tonight's agenda have been published and posted, and copies have been made available to the public by the clerk's office as required by law. Item A is Ordinance 02009. It is a fully funded capital ordinance providing for the paving and striping of various parking lots.
Are there any individuals in the queue for this ordinance for public comment?
There are none, Mayor.
Council? I'll close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller? Counselor Spiller?
possibly on mute.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item B is ordinance O-2010. It is a fully funded capital ordinance providing for the rehabilitation of Skytop Station Pump, refurbishing of sewer lining, and vehicle purchases.
Is there anyone present, anyone in the queue for this ordinance?
There are none in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you. Council comment? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item C is ordinance O-2011. It is a fully funded capital ordinance providing for various water utility capital improvements and appropriating $1 million from the Water Utility Capital Improvement Fund.
Anyone in the queue on this ordinance?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you. Council comment?
I'd just like to note that A, B, and C are fully funded, and that is the best way to spend money for the town. We don't have to borrow from anybody.
And actually, it's even more nuanced than that, because in the past, what we've had to do is take surplus dollars from our utilities, our water, sewer, parking, when it happened, and that surplus was then put into the operating budget of the municipal budget, of the town's budget, to help with mitigate tax increases. So what we've been able to do is to, one, not use any of the surplus from these utilities for, I think, the last 3 years, and use the surplus to do much needed capital spending, while at the same time having 2 consecutive years of no tax increase. So it's actually to the point that Councilor McMahon made, but even more powerful in the sense that we're able to do this, spend as we go, no borrowing from our utilities, but also not needing the money to keep a tax increase to zero. So it's really, I think, quite a feat, and the council should be quite proud.
That was over $200 million.
$2.65 million, so it's a lot of money. That's 5 tax points for us. Yes. Madam Clerk?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item D is ordinance O-2012. It is a bond ordinance providing for various school capital improvements in the amount of $167,900.
Anyone in the queue for this one?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Council? Madam Clerk?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item E is ordinance O-2013. It is a bond ordinance in the amount of $393,276 to replace stairs at the Buzz Aldrin Middle School.
Anyone in the queue on this one?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you. Council? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item F is ordinance 02014. It is a bond ordinance appropriating $2,074,800 and authorizing the issuance of bonds or notes in the amount of $1,971,060 for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Montclair.
Anyone in the queue on this one?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you. Council? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item G is ordinance.
Madam Clerk, we just
Yeah.
hold on. Now, I'm sure the cynic's going to say, well, wait a minute, you didn't have fully funded for these. And the answer to that is, no, we are borrowing money for this. However, this is in the context of our overall debt reduction plan. So this spending is folded into that. So by the end of the year, we will have reduced the debt again by some $3 to $5 million again this year. So at the end of this council's term, the number will be down by about $60 million plus from when we took office. So just want to put that into context as well. Thank you. G?
Item G is ordinance 02015. It is a salary ordinance for the Communication Workers of America, Supervisory Bargaining Unit, Local 1040, for years 2020 through 2026.
Anyone in the queue?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Council comments? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item H is ordinance 02016. It is a salary ordinance for the Communication Workers of America Non-Supervisory Bargaining Unit, Local 1040, for years 2020 through 2026.
We got anyone in the queue for this one, gentlemen?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Council comment? A roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Almost there, Madam Clerk. Again, go.
Item I is ordinance 02017. It is a salary ordinance for FSOA Local 20A for years 2021 through 2027.
Anyone in the queue for this one?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you. Council comment? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Item J is ordinance 02018. It is a salary ordinance for FMBA Local 20 for years 2021 through 2027.
Thank you. Anyone in the queue for this one?
There are no callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you. Council comment? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Again, by way of comment, this is 8 for 8. Congratulations to Mr. Stafford and the team for negotiating this. All of our bargaining units are now in very, very long-term agreements with the governing body for their contracts. In fact, the next council will have nothing to do in this regard. And actually, the one after that will have a little bit of time before it has to worry about it as well. So I think this puts us in great shape. I know the rating agencies will love it. And it's, they're fair. And they're fair to us and fair to our employees. We're pleased with it. And the other one I think that I'm really happy about is the stuff with the FMBA, because we're actually having a contract agreement with them before the other one runs out. And that is extraordinary, and I'd like to see us do more of that, but again, we have to wait for 6, 7, 8 years for some of these things to make that happen. So it's fantastic, and I think it'll be a weight off the shoulders of those who are coming after us, but also it's great for our employees, because I think we spend so much time in this setting worried about, and arguing and jostling about, salaries and contract negotiations, and now we have a period of just peace, and I think it couldn't be more timely with the pandemic going on, that we're not focused on that. We're focused on getting our businesses and our people back up and running again. So congratulations to everybody, and it's a really good thing. Thanks. We have some new business resolutions. Item K is a resolution amending R-2008, which was adopted on February 18, 2020, authorizing the execution of a professional service agreement with H2M Association for professional services in connection with the groundwater investigation for 399 Orange Road, which is the Permanent Employment Act of local government.
This is the bad penny.
Yes, and I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Resolution R-20 is a resolution to approve a second amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the Township and BSREP 2 Wellmont Development, JV LLC, to implement the redevelopment plan for the Seymour Street redevelopment area. Mr. Krasik, could you just give us a summary of this, please?
Yes, I'll give you a quick synopsis. In 2017, we entered into a redevelopment agreement with an LLC representing the Seymour Street redevelopers in order to build the projects you see going up on both sides of Seymour Street, the Seymour Street Plaza, and 2 parking decks, one on South Willow and one coming off the South Fulton lot, and a 3rd parking deck, which the developer was going to build for the town. The town will own it and operate it. That's on Glen Ridge Avenue. In 2018, August or so, we worked out the details, the financial details for the deck, which were very favorable, at least in our opinion, for the town. We're basically paying very little for.
I think in the developer's opinion too.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well, exactly. In any case, there are a lot of moving parts, and this deck the deck on Glen Ridge couldn't start until the deck on South Fulton is finished, which is now coming to pass. And the original date for completion was June 1st of 2020, this year, but that was before anything was even agreed to or site plans were approved, et cetera. So at this point, we've sat down with the developer, worked out the schedule for completion, and they believe they can finish the entire project, including the Midtown deck, will be finished sometime in the summer of 2021. They've asked to put an October 31st date on, because there's quite severe penalties if they go past it, which were put into the agreement. And that's what this resolution does. It extends the final completion date for the Midtown deck to October 31st of 2021.
I will move it.
Second.
Discussion. And again, if I just want to comment too on making this one, is that we've had, obviously we've had some parking constraints in town, partly because we've taken some lots out of service in order to get some of these other ones built. But I believe, and Mr. Krasik, you probably know the exact number, but I think net, when we're done in 2021, we'll have increase of about 800 parking spaces.
That's correct.
Yeah, right.
Through
So-
all the decks.
Correct. So we'll be adding a net of 800 parking spaces downtown, which I think will have tremendous impact and ability of our small businesses. So we heard clearly from tonight, but we've got some short-term pain here, but the net effect will be, in the not-too-distant future, we're going to have really an abundance, I think, of parking for our businesses and our customers who come downtown to use. Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Bill list, Counselor Slager?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Whereas invoices against the Township of Montclair in favor of the following persons for the amounts set opposite their respective names have been received, duly audited, and found correct. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair in the County of Essex that said invoices be, and they are hereby ordered paid, and that checks be drawn by the Finance Department to the order of such persons for the amounts respectively and hereinafter stated on the computer printout attached hereto and made a part hereof. This bill list is dated June 9th, 2020, for the amount of $7,777,281.59, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Mr. Stafford?
Thank you, Mayor. Regarding item number 1, given the disruption caused by COVID-19, the state delayed the adoption of its fiscal year 2021 budget to September 30 of 2020, and this has a trickle-down effect. The Division of Local Government Services cannot certify state aid allocations to municipalities until state aid appropriations are known. Therefore, the DLGS cannot certify municipal budgets. Resultantly, counties cannot certify tax rates and will not be able to do so until after the June 30, 2020 deadline to process the third quarter tax bills that would be due on August 1. Accordingly, the DLGS strongly recommends that municipalities prepare to issue estimated property tax bills for 2020. This resolution would authorize and direct the tax collector to process estimated tax bills for the third quarterly installment of 2020 taxes. Item number 2, starting in July of 2019, the Township's OEM team participated in the required process to update the county-wide and our individual municipal hazard mitigation plans. Included as part of same was the completion of an update to our township's OEM hazard mitigation plan. This resolution, as required by the county, the state, and FEMA, would adopt in its entirety the 2020 Essex County Hazard Mitigation Plan update as the township's hazard mitigation plan.
Mr. Stafford, that's due by,
July 1.
okay, sorry, just want to make sure for our next,
Yeah. Although, candidly, if you'd like to act tonight, you could, and I can have the OEM team send it tomorrow. It's up to you.
I'd like to move that, just to ensure that we get it on time.
Second.
Just roll call on that one, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
I thank you for that, and I'll relay that to our OEM team, who will forward it to the county in the morning. Regarding item number 3, since June of 2018 and following appropriate requests for proposal processes, the township has engaged the Neglia Engineering Associates firm in professional services contracts to provide engineering consultant services. In anticipation of the current contract ending, a request for proposals was issued, and 7 proposals were received and analyzed. Based upon that analysis and the analysis of performance, efficiency, and cost effectiveness of the Neglia firm, recommendation is made to, and this resolution would authorize the award of a 1-year contract in an amount not to exceed $250,000 to the firm to provide municipal engineering services. Item number 4 would authorize the township's application.
Mr. Stafford, I have a question on that one. Thank you. This is Councilman Spiller. Just a note on that. As we look through the different proposals that were submitted, and as we've seen in the past, each of the different entities that can provide these services charges such a range of fees depending on the individual involved. Certainly good for this time. I know they've got a track record, and you feel working with them has been a positive, net positive. So I think that's a good thing. But I think for the next year when we put this out, probably a little homework on our end that would be helpful to make a more apples-to-apples comparison. If we can check in with, who the engineer is that we do most of our time with and what their category is, and see what the fee on that is for Neglia. And then when we put out our proposals, see who it would or what level the person would be on the other end from one of those other firms, so we can start to compare what are the potential actual costs versus the potential actual costs with going with another entity. Right now, given the different titles, given the different numbers for each, really, I imagine it's got to be a very difficult job just in assessing all of these because they're all over the map in terms of cost. So, just a little digging into who we're using, what level they are, what that cost is, and then of course when we put out our proposals, a little more clarity around which individual would be interfacing with us more often on a daily basis for the projects we have and the conversations we engage in, what their fees are, and that way we can make a more informed decision as we analyze these in the future after this 1-year contract is up. So thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Item number 4 would authorize the township's application for and execution of a New Jersey Department of Transportation municipal aid grant for improvements to South Park Street from the Crescent to Bloomfield Avenue and to Church Street from Trinity Place to Bloomfield Avenue. This project would include Belgian block curbing, sidewalks, cobblestone pavers, paving, and striping. The total estimated cost for this project is $679,156.37. Regarding item number 5, due to pedestrian safety considerations, a crosswalk to provide a crossing of Elm Street at Lincoln Street is appropriate and desired. The County of Essex Department of Public Works Division of Engineering was consulted and is accepting of same contingent on the township submitting a resolution endorsing the project, accepting responsibility for installation and maintenance, and executing the county's indemnification and hold harmless agreement regarding the project. Item number 5 would be a resolution that would accomplish and authorize all. Regarding item number 6, for several years and following appropriate request for proposals processes, the township has engaged the Gannett Fleming firm in professional services contracts to provide engineering consulting services to the Department of Utilities. In anticipation of the current contract ending, a request for proposals was issued and 6 proposals were received and analyzed. Based upon that analysis and the analysis of the performance, efficiency, and cost effectiveness of the Gannett Fleming firm, recommendation is made to, and this resolution would authorize the award of a 1-year contract in an amount not to exceed $200,000 to the firm to provide municipal engineering services. Similarly, item number 7, for several years and following appropriate requests for proposals processes, the township has engaged the Suburban Consulting Engineer firm in professional services contracts to provide engineering consulting services to the Department of Utilities. In anticipation of the current contract ending, a request for proposals was issued. 6 proposals were received and analyzed. Based upon that analysis and the analysis of the performance, efficiency, and cost effectiveness of the Suburban Consulting Engineers firm, recommendation is made to, and this resolution would authorize the award of a 1-year contract in an amount not to exceed $90,000 to the firm to provide municipal engineering services. And Mayor, that's all I have on the agenda at this time.
Thank you. Just to go around the horn, so to speak, Mrs. Scantlebury, anything?
No comment, Mayor.
Mr. Krasik?
No comments, thank you.
Madam Clerk, anything?
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Fan? No comment, sir. Mr. Stafford?
I do have some comments, Mayor. I will be as brief as possible. I am sad, again, to have to relay that the most recent official reports this evening include that the confirmed number of COVID-19 cases in Montclair is 416, and that number includes 46 individuals who did not survive the illness. The best way to prevent the illness continues to be by avoiding exposure to the virus. Please continue to do everything you can to try and control community spread. Please practice the mandatory social distancing and follow CDC guidelines. The Township and the Smith Center for Infectious Diseases and Urban Health are partnering to offer free drive-through COVID-19 tests to Montclair residents tomorrow. Every one of the 400 appointments for testing was taken, and so our health department is working to secure another testing event, so please monitor our website because details on same will be disseminated when they are final. Township tennis and basketball courts are open for play, and the skate park is also open. All using the courts and park must strictly follow the posted COVID-19 related regulations. Last week, Governor Murphy signed Executive Order number 149 that allows the resumption of child care services, youth day camps, and organized sports. Yesterday, our governor announced that municipal pools may open effective June 22. Our Department of Recreation and Cultural Affairs will work as quickly as possible to determine how and when the department's summer day camp and organized sports activities are to resume and when pools are to open. Some, but not all, guidance has been released by the state, so we are strategically planning while awaiting that guidance. The County of Essex drive-through testing site in Newark's Weequahic Park will be open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for COVID-19 testing until further notice. Whether they have symptoms or not, Essex County residents can make an appointment for a free test by clicking www.essexcovid.org and then by following the instructions. Those Essex County residents without internet access may call 973-324-9950 between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. to schedule an appointment. The county has added mobile testing unit to its testing capabilities. Testing will be performed at different satellite locations throughout the county on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 7. Again, appointments are required, and they can be made by clicking www.essexcovid.org and following the 2 satellite testing dates, and locations are available on the website as well. The county will hold a food distribution event at 10 a.m. on Thursday, June 11 at St. Matthew AME Church, located at 336 Oakwood Avenue in Orange. The event will be held rain or shine, and instructions for accessing the event are on the county's and on the township's website. The township, in conjunction with Home Corp, presents the next Montclair Housing Series class, a first-time home buyer workshop, to be held on Saturday, June 13 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is a virtual class that's free for Montclair residents and municipal employees. Registration is required, and it is requested that folks register by June 12. Please visit the township website to sign up to receive the web link to the class. Participants who complete the class will receive a certificate of completion that may help with eligibility for down payment assistance. It is critical for all Montclairians to complete their Census 2020 forms. As of June 7, Montclair's 2020 census self-response rate is 67.2%, 67.2. We must do better, though, as the results of the 2020 census will determine how hundreds of billions of dollars in federal funding flow into communities like our township for the next decade. All who have not yet done so are urged to take 10 minutes and complete the 2020 census form. And to ensure that our community is counted, please remind your friends, family members, and neighbors to respond. Responding is safe, quick, and important, and a response can be made by phone, by mail, or online. More information can be found by clicking 2020census.gov. For COVID-19 related information from the state, you can visit the state's one-stop shop COVID-19 information hub, covid19.nj.gov. I'd like to point again specifically within the state's COVID-19 information hub to its job and hiring portal As of late this afternoon, 53,008 jobs with 981 different companies were posted, and one seeking employment can search for jobs by industry, by location, and by other filters. General questions about COVID-19 may be posed by calling the state's Comprehensive Information and Referral Service by dialing 211. Medical questions about COVID-19 may be posed by calling the state's information line at 800-962-1253. These numbers are staffed 24/7. New Jerseyans feeling the emotional and mental toll of COVID-19 can get support from a special helpline. New Jersey Mental Cares, the state's behavioral health information and referral service, is offering help to people dealing with anxiety and worry related to COVID-19. New Jerseyans can call 1-866-202-HELP. That is 866-202-4357 for free confidential support. This line is staffed from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week by live trained specialists. For COVID-19 related information from our township, please visit our website and its COVID-19 section for updates on township operations during the crisis. If you have not yet signed up for the township's Swift 911 alert system to receive township updates by blast, please do so now. The sign-up form can be accessed by our website's homepage, and certainly you can also follow our Facebook page, Montclair NJ USA, and the township's Twitter feed at montclairnj.gov. And lastly, Mayor, I would like to take a moment again to offer a sincere thank you and to express my gratitude to all of our township public health staff, our Department of Community Services personnel, as well as our public safety, information technology, Department of Utilities, Office of Emergency Management, and all other township personnel who have been working around the clock 7 days a week to keep us safe, connected, and informed. I'm grateful for our employees and for their efforts. I'm appreciative of their dedication, and I continue to be a proud member of their team. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's just regrettable and sad to see that number growing, but it's, I guess, it's slowing. I guess that's the one thing we can say. Thank God for that. Council comments? Councilor Hurlock? I'm just going to go one through four, then the at-large. So, Councilor Hurlock?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just echo the sentiment of Mr. Stafford and add also that I want to, thank Mr. Stafford, Mr. Karasik, and our deputy township clerk, and also our temporary clerk serving with us this evening, and thank all of the township employees and administration for all the work that they've done throughout this incredible time period that we're living in on so many different fronts. Thank you all.
Thank you. Councilor Slager?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Stafford and to Michelle Camerata for opening the skate park yesterday at the Rand Tennis Court. I was able to go by there yesterday afternoon. The kids were thrilled. They were skating. They brought some of their elements that they skate on from their homes. They were following the COVID rules and regs. There's a big sign up on the fence, thanks to Michelle. I know she put it up. And it was just a wonderful thing to see. And the kids were so grateful and so happy. So I'm really pleased about that. I also had a question, Mr. Stafford. Maybe I missed it, but I don't recall seeing anything about the reopening of the animal shelter, if there is any plan for that or what that might look like, and hopefully coming soon.
There's nothing definitive as of yet. It is a strategic work in progress, consistent with the governor's executive orders. However, when the plans are finalized and the building can be opened and repopulated, certainly we'll blast that out as wide and as far as we can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Councilor Spiller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just use my time to reiterate something that was captured near the end there, which is the census. I know certainly our attention for everybody, I think, is focused in a lot of places, a lot of very important places. But if we all knew that we had an opportunity to literally help ourselves with federal dollars that can come in, these are the dollars we're talking about where at times, and certainly in times of crisis, each and every dollar could be utilized to help get everybody back on our feet and to keep us moving in a positive direction. So to anyone out there who has not yet taken that time, you heard the percentage there from Mr. Stafford. Quite frankly, we want to be not only the best in the county, highest return rates, we want to be right near the top, nationwide. So we've really just got to make sure we focus there. If somebody took a moment and said, hey, if you just went online and did this quickly, you could have increased dollars to your town that would have helped offset other costs. I think most of us would recognize the importance of it there. So I can't stress enough, important even during these difficult times to make sure we get the dollars due to us from the federal government. So please take the time to complete the census. And other than that, I will just also recognize and thank all of our township employees for the great work that they've been doing, the hard work that they've been doing. Appreciate that. Appreciate your work, Mr. Stafford. And we all know there's plenty of work still to be done. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Baskerville.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just as important as certainly the census is, and we've all been getting out and calling our neighbors and reminding them how important it is for everything, all of the monetary allocations in our township. It's also extremely important that when we cast votes, that those votes actually get counted. And many of you by now probably know that anywhere from 1,086 votes to 2,000 votes have not been counted, votes that were cast in the Montclair municipal election. And that is a huge concern for me and many of you. So for all of you that have been reaching out and emailing me and asking, what can you do and what's going on, it's very, very important. In fact, I'm surprised that everybody in the township from all walks of life, every Democratic Party, should be bipartisan outrage when we are call ourselves a progressive township and we have an election and upwards from 1,086 votes are not counted, and more people are not jumping up and down to say, why should that be? Democracy does not look like that. And so a group of us do have legal action, and we are requesting that those votes be counted. There should never be voter suppression and voter disenfranchisement. And we have so many progressive groups in the township that usually I hear them telling people the importance of the vote. So it's not just important to get out the vote, it's important to make sure those votes are counted after you get out the vote. And so we're asking that they count them. I'd like to applaud the Governor Murphy, because after what happened in Montclair and many municipalities that participated in the May 12th election, the governor has decided to extend the period of time for which your ballots would get in to 7 days. Also, the ballots are going out tomorrow, which will give you 27 days to get your vote in. And that way, make sure that your signature is verified. Because it's horrific. Most of the people of the number that I know of, which is the 1,086 votes, most of them have no idea that their votes were not counted. So make sure that you get your ballots filled out and return them. I would even suggest that you go into the post office and watch them put the date on there. There were about 191 votes that were not counted at all because the post office forgot to put the stamp on them. So this is not democracy. We should make sure that when we cast votes, that those votes are counted, and those of us that are pursuing this, that should be everyone in the township, we're going to ask, please, that they take another look, and we're certain that they will do this. We know that the people involved have gone above and beyond to try to make this trial vote by mail only event something that we can learn from. Yes, we learn, but we also need to make it work for all of the people, for all the people that risk their lives. So 1,086 people that risked their lives to go cast a vote, did not have it counted, and that should not be. These types of oppressive actions should never exist in election. People have bled and died for the right to cast a vote and have their vote counted. And so for all of you that are reaching out to me, I want to thank you. And yes, we're doing everything that we can think of. And sure, if there are other things that you'd like to share with me that might be helpful for all of us, then I would really appreciate you reaching out. And yeah, we're really hopeful because we know how important it is. All of us know how important it is to have our votes counted. I just wanted to actually ask on another note the mayor. I got a couple of texts and people were just saying, did Ms. Angeles get sworn in already as the clerk? Because you called her Madam Clerk, and people are wondering if Juliet's going to return.
I would just ask, it's really not an appropriate question. It's a personnel issue. And
Oh, okay, so, well, is she the clerk?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Mr.
Yeah.
I can say, the appointment of the municipal clerk is a governing body prerogative.
Correct.
The governing body has not appointed a clerk.
Right, that's what I said, but then I just wanted to make sure, because there are other things that, are prerogative of the governing body, and not always is the whole governing body included. So I was just asking if that had taken place, and I was not aware of it, because several people, sent and asked me. They said, oh, I didn't know. I said I did not know either. And
Counselor, the law requires that every counselor be notified of every governing body meeting. There would not be a meeting that occurred without you being notified that meeting was being held.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I will, I guess they're listening. So you guys that asked me that, you heard the response, I hope.
And I, just for the record too, I often refer to Ms. Lee as the clerk as well. I'll say Madam Clerk, just
Right.
because of serving the function. So,
Right, and that's what I thought.
Right.
Thank you.
And I wanted to just, I'll come back to it when I have time to talk. No, but just no.
Good, thank you.
Counselor.
Mayor?
Counselor Russo?
Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I was listening to all the businesses. I don't know if any of those people are still on. I've made notes, extensive notes from home here, and just want to say that I've heard everything people said, and as Councilor Herlock said, and Councilor Spiller and others, and we're certainly all under the tremendous limits that we're facing through the state government and the federal government, and we're doing the best we can. I'm very unhappy to hear people think that we're not doing anything or that we haven't done. First of all, we're all doing our part to give up every business, every possible order for food and purchase from our local businesses that we can. That's what my wife and I have been doing for 3 months, trying to make sure we patronize everyone locally. But, we're going to all go through this together. We've all got to pull together. We can't be at odds and can't be criticizing and accusing each other. Here's the big thing I think all the business members need to look at. You've got to help us lobby for what the federal government needs to give us. The federal government has to give aid to the state and to the counties and particularly municipalities. That's going to be the source of revenue to keep us going, because we're going to lose a lot of revenue. I do support the idea of cutting back on fees and, getting rid of red tape and bureaucracy and getting things moving quickly for businesses to be outdoors, and I do support all that, and I support, restrictions being lifted and support free parking, everything that can possibly be done. But we still have to pay our police, we have to pay our firefighters, we have to pay our health staff, we have to pay for the government to be run. People sometimes want us to reduce taxes, and then they want us to provide more services. How can we do both? but we have to have enough revenue to come in, and the source of that is going to have to be the federal government. They have to take a Marshall Plan approach to this. So I'm asking all the businesses to support us in our efforts and requests to our federal legislators, our state U.S. senators, congresspeople, state legislators, to get us the aid that the municipalities need to keep the government running. If we cut revenue by helping businesses, we have to have a substitute for that revenue other than increasing taxes on our property taxpayers. So let's all pull together, work together, and try to make it work for Montclair to become, again, the premier town for businesses. And let's all just work together and keep our faith. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor McMahon?
Thank you, Mayor. Just like to echo some things, although I have to say I take exception at the one comment by, I appreciate all the business people calling in, but the one that said that Montclair is not doing anything, everyone else is, simply not true. So just forget that. I've actually, one thing I've enjoyed about this COVID-19 thing is getting takeout from my many friends that own restaurants, and we definitely support them and look forward to them being fully opened. And we're going to talk more about what we can do this week. Also want to join in the thanks for the municipal employees and the first responders who keep doing a fantastic job. And the only other thing I like to say is fill out the census. It's really easy. It's short. It takes seconds. And it's very important. So do not skip the census. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all the councilors for your comments. I want to just talk about the census as well. There are 22 towns in Essex County. 15 towns have a better response record than we do. That is just really unacceptable for our township, and it's going to cost us money. And as others have said, it's really easy to do. Just fill it out and get it done. They're going to start walking around door to door as soon as social distancing and other issues have been resolved. But I believe we had a conference call today with a gentleman from the Census Bureau, and they're gearing up now to come door to door. So it's one of the easy ways also to stop somebody from bugging you at your door about filling out the census. Just do it online and get it over with. The other thing too is, as you know, the federal government through the CARES Act allocated dollars to the state of New Jersey, but also to the 9 counties that have more than 500,000 people were separately and independently funded. Out of the money that the County of Essex received, the county executive is allocating $10 million to support Essex County local businesses, small businesses, and also nonprofits who have been impacted by coronavirus. And it's actually a grant, and the grant is up to $10 million. You can't have 25 or less employees to qualify. So it's a great opportunity. It's going to be administered by the New Jersey EDA, and the EDA has a $50 million program. This is going to be, we're contributing another $10 million, but our $10 million can only go to Essex County nonprofits and Essex County small businesses. And if you go on the EDA website, you can get the form to apply. It's forms.business.nj.gov/grant-2/. So, but if you go on EDA, you can their website, you can find it. And I believe they're going to start taking applications. They may have already, but certainly I think it's. I'm sorry, they're going to be starting. What's today? Today's the 9th. Yeah, today's starting today. They started taking applications. So it's a grant. So up to 10 grants. So for our local businesses, some of them called in tonight, please to check in for that. Yes. Also wanted to just thank Ms. Bermudez and Nieves for sitting in this evening. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you stepping in. And I know you got your certification to be a clerk, and it's probably an interesting first one to have 10 items on the agenda that you got to gotta do. And you did a really, really
job.
good job.
Thank
And
you.
appreciate it. And again, I just want to reiterate to our small businesses here in town, you're certainly not forgotten. We just think we're going to be smart about how we do it, and we will be no later than some of the other towns that were talked about. And I think one word that was used by, I want to call it, was inaction, which I do take great umbrage at. But I sometimes I have to consider the source, I guess. But anyway, any other comments, anyone? Motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Have a good night.